The Ocean Ranger has disappeared beneath the waves.
Thank you.
Early morning, February 15th. The fury of the storm has passed. Relatives receive no calls from Mobile. They learn about the disaster from the morning radio.
Ocean Ranger, and it was working about 300 kilometers off St. John's in the Hibernia oil field area. It was hit by the same storm that slammed the eastern coast of Newfoundland yesterday. Reports from the scene say a lifeboat was launched and capsized. The tugboats and at least 2 helicopters are on the scene looking for the capsized boat. So far, there's no word from the scene on the fate of the people in the lifeboats.
Many of the families of the men aboard refuse to believe the worst.
And the next morning, for some reason, I turned the radio on at 6:30, and then my whole life changed. I heard the rig had gone down, and I just figured that he was, I said, oh, he's going to be okay, because he's tall and he's strong. He's going to get off of it.
I thought, no, Mel's never going to get into that sort of situation. He wouldn't be foolish enough to jump into the water, you know, and that wouldn't happen. He'd be safe. I was sure he'd be safe.
As the day wears on, optimism turns to despair, and then outrage.
Angry? Oh, yeah. I told him if they didn't bring his body back to me, I'd take a baseball bat to him. I think that was being angry.
As the day's events unfolded, I became mad and angry and certainly less than capable of carrying on a conversation. It was just, you know, mostly a burning anger at these people. This is criminal. There should be a criminal investigation into how this happened.
At a hastily called news conference, the full extent of the horror is revealed.
It's my very, very sad duty to tell you officially the Ocean Ranger is lost. There were 84 people aboard, and at this point in time, we certainly cannot hold out much hope for survivors.
The Ocean Ranger should have been able to withstand the gale-force winds and 50-foot seas that lashed the area. It did not. A newspaper headline details the shocking result. Both oil company and Canadian Forces rescue aircraft were dispatched to the area almost immediately. They returned at mid-morning, and the news was grim.
We came across a couple of bodies, so we attempted to lower one of our pararescue, our rescue specialists, down in the water. We got him down in, and he was able to confirm that the fellow was dead.
I mean, we all stayed up all through the night the next day, and we stayed there 7 days after that. They already asked us to come back in, and Captain Douglas said no. He said, we'll stay. Doesn't mean the rig was gone. That was our rig, so I guess we had to stay.
May Donlan prays for good news about her missing husband, Tom, and her brother, Robert Hicks.
I was like a zombie. I just waited for the phone to ring and tell me that, you know, they had found Tommy or they had found my brother. But I didn't get the phone call. The phone call that I got was that they've given up the search, and I didn't want them to do that.
This morning, at Pier 17 in St. John's Harbor, rescuers carried ashore the bodies of 5 more crewmen from the Ocean Ranger. The number recovered now stands at 20 and unlikely to go higher because the official search for the remaining 64 has been called off.
In all, 22 bodies will be recovered. Pat Ryan's son is one of them.
I understand that he was still strapped in his life raft, fully clothed, and, you know, like, I think he was in, he didn't have a mark on him. They said that if he had been wearing a survival suit, he would have made it.
Mike Bromley would have been another victim, but he was on a training course in Texas. His colleague and close friend Tom Hatfield was not so lucky.
A friend of mine came up to me in the grocery store and said, "You're alive." I said, "Yeah, I'm home," Tom didn't make it back, and it took me a while to get the grief through, and it gave me nightmares for quite some time, but it was a rude awakening.
"84 men dead and many more lives shattered. The search for answers now begins." February 19th, 1982. In St. John's, a devastated community honors its dead and demonstrates its solidarity in the face of the terrible tragedy. The twisted wreckage of the Ocean Ranger lies at the bottom of the North Atlantic. With the demand for answers building, the American and Canadian governments initiate official inquiries into the causes of the disaster. The American inquiry is held first in Boston. It is attended by Canadian Chief Justice Alex Hickman, who will head up the second inquiry in St. John's, Newfoundland. The American inquiry will take 2 months to issue its findings. The Canadian inquiry, almost 2 years.